Okay, what's poppin'? What's going on? Doing another quick video using my car as my stand again. I don't know why I showed you that. I need to know that. Today we're talking about basically, well, it's a little bit of a reaction to Sam Cedar's debate with a libertarian about student debt relief or forgiveness, or combination of both. And I, as a lefty, and I guess I'll say Sam Cedar fan. I haven't watched that much of his stuff recently, but I do generally like him. I think he's pretty smart. There's some stuff that I disagree with him about, but generally I'd say I'll tend to lean with him over usually whoever he's arguing with. But this time, I think I mostly agree with the libertarian dude, and I am not a libertarian. But he had some pretty strong points. I mean, first of all, they started off saying he thinks public school should be free or funded by the government, which, look, okay, that doesn't sound as libertarian as I would have expected. But again, not a libertarian. I don't know what they all think, but they got into it basically leading with okay, well, college shouldn't necessarily be free. For one, it's a personal investment for yourself, is what he's saying, right? Personal investment, which if you pick the right courses and invest the right amount of effort and time into it, pays off pretty well. What the average they quoted the $1 million over your lifetime stat, which I don't remember how accurate that is, but I do know there's like a 20 to 10, I don't know if it's a 10 or 20K difference right after college for how much you're earning changes just for an average college graduate with a bachelor's degree. I don't know if it was from 35 to 50K. I think it's somewhere. It's more than 15K increase right out of college. You're immediately making, and I think that's pretty significant. Like, okay, why should people who don't necessarily all go to college? Because again, 1 in 3 people have a college degree. Why should 2/3 of the American population be paying for either your college degree or for a loan that you got for you to invest on yourself? Why should that be on them? And honestly, as someone who's going to receive some student loan for, oh no, the sun. There we go. Let's just change the angle. That's maybe if it's like the sun, if it's facing me, we're just gonna go right. That's not reasonable. That's gonna have to do. Anyway, someone with some reasonable amount of student loans that's gonna need some forgiveness. I get what he's saying. Even so, I'm like, I mean, I didn't apply. I think I got like one of the the stimulus checks. I think I only got one of them, and I was like, wasn't tripping over it. And I think there was 3. I didn't apply or ask for them because at the time I was doing Uber delivery, and I'm like, well, if I can make money, why should I get some sort of money from the government? And this is as a liberal, as someone I'm not a socialist, I suppose, but I think a democratic socialist is not unreasonable. But I'm like, well, if I can make money, then why should I be getting money from the government? Like, I also, like someone who's lived off of food stamps and other types of government subsidies, and like my always thoughts, well, when you can't supply for yourself, take some assistance, but as soon as you can, stop. I don't know, it's just that simple. And right now, your boy broke it in a joke. However, I'm trying to look for a job, and I'm getting interviews, I'm getting calls, potentially going to be employed. And now I'm like, okay, well, if I do get a job that gets me at that 55-ish range, I should be reasonably able to start putting money back towards my loans. And if I start, which over 5 to 10 years, to get from 55 to like 80 or 90K potentially at some point, if I'm smart and know what I'm doing, well, then I'll definitely be able to pay a significant amount of money off my loans. If I'm getting to near 6-figure salary at some point, which is possible if you get the right degree, you further your education in the right directions, it's reasonable that you can pay off your loans. Now, for individuals who often cannot, like when there's degrees that aren't necessarily, they don't pay back what you put into it. Like he was making, they make the basket weaving or gender studies joke, and then they're supporting at Starbucks. That is, that type of thing does happen. Like studying philosophy or sociology, or even some people that study psychology and don't become psychologists or psychiatrists, or even like if you become a social worker with a psychology degree, I'm like, well, you could have just studied just social work in general and still got the same maybe not the same job, but you could be working in the, oh no, my shirt. My phone on the floor, and still get similar, you might be working similar salaries. Even if, let's say, you get a 10K boost for having a psychology degree instead of a state school sociology degree, I'm not sure exactly. Say it's you get 10K more in salary, but you spent 200K or something like that on your degree. Like if you made unreasonable choices about where you went to school, should that be the rest of society's job to pay for it? I don't know, because it's not like it's the same instances where, okay, poor people, veterans, disabled people, these are people like, I mean, let's say veterans, disabled individuals, elderly, people who definitely physically can't take care of themselves no matter what. I think society should reasonably try and help pay for it. I don't have any issue paying for it when I have more money. I know most people don't hate the idea of helping assist veterans and the elderly that much. Now also, as a poor person, I'm like, I think putting money into poor people usually makes them more profitable. Like, if they can feed themselves and work at a job and their maybe 2 or 3 years has to be used to take care of them, they'll put more money into society. If they can get a degree, potentially, that gets them a job, then they're no longer poor people. They're working, they're adding tax dollars to society. I think that's beneficial. But even if a poor person decides to get a degree in something that's not really financially sustainable for themselves, there were some conversations about which degrees pay more because they're valued in society. I think obviously a STEM major is more useful than a art degree, right? Unless you're talking about I don't know, maybe graphic design's different, maybe digital arts is also different. If you're including arts with video editing, and especially with media getting bigger, it's to say. But let's just say degrees that just aren't as in demand because they don't have as hard skills. Should a person be? Should you pick that? Like, you shouldn't pick that field. I mean, they made another statement. He said, like, okay, well, they know what they're getting into, basically. I disagree that students know what they're getting into, but he also said they have the information available as a clarifier. And, well, right now, the information is, I mean, every young person I talk to, I say, like, hey, for one, go to community college first, then go to a state school or some potentially private university if you want to, but start at community college, transfer over. Even if all your credits don't transfer over, it's still significantly cheaper. 2 years not going to a private university it's almost half of your debt is like not there, because you still have to pay for some community colleges, but so much less. So I'm sorry, like the glare is, I'm just going, it looks like I got a mask on with the freaking whatever. But I mean, personally, I'm telling every young person I know, anytime I see it, usually it's like I'm playing basketball. It's like, oh, you go to school? I'm like, yeah, I got this degree, studied this. I'm like, business management's not that specific, not that, I maybe go like accounting, finance specifically, maybe marketing or sales instead of just general administration and management, because I had to find other focuses. But still, I'm able to get, like, I've gotten sales jobs because I had a degree. I've gotten other jobs because of having a degree that aren't amazing, but they're jobs. I'll get myself paid. Like, people will want to reasonably give me a chance at some entry-level position. And I'm like, that's really what you want. You can't be an engineer? That's fine. Study some general business field that's not too complicated, and you'll still be able to get a job. Even like jobs, like there's some, we wanted to be a bank teller or whatnot, and maybe it's harder to get that job just through networking, but you may more likely be able to get that job with a degree. I don't know. I haven't tried to be a bank teller. I don't know what's involved. Point is, get yourself a degree that gets you a job. People will tell you, if you're friends with them, they'll hopefully be honest with you. But also you can look online and see what the average earnings and income for different degrees are. Look online and see what the job possibilities for each degree is. See how often they're paid. See how in demand they are. And don't just do one quick Google search. You can look up advanced stats about it. You can look up, see whatever research. I mean, people do a lot of research on what jobs do pay off, what degrees work. I mean, it's not just about your aptitude of what works best for you. It's like what works best for making money for you too. That's really what it's about. So, okay, I'm rambling, but I think the point is, if you chose it, because people can choose whatever degree they want, they can get a loan for whatever they want, especially because of, student loans being offered as the way they are. People are taking out loans for degrees that aren't reasonable. And people that maybe shouldn't get degrees are getting degrees. I didn't do great in school. Looking back at it, I probably I should have worked harder, let's just say. But someone like me maybe shouldn't have even gotten a loan because of how little effort I put into school. I was working other stuff, I was prioritizing other things. Maybe someone like me shouldn't have even gotten a loan. Maybe I should have done something else. Maybe I should have went to a lower cost school because I wasn't going to put in the amount of effort that should be required out of school as expensive as I went. I mean, the libertarian was speaking some facts, bro. I feel like I can't say that I'm making a channel where I want to have honest conversations, or at least honest talks with you guys about stuff, and not be able to admit when somebody on a different side of the political spectrum is speaking straight knowledge. I don't think there was nearly nothing. Okay, I missed like a good 20 minutes of the video. In the beginning, the first 25 minutes, I pretty much was completely on board with everything the libertarian dude was saying. If you watched, I'll link the video here. I think he was pretty reasonable. So, should there be student loan forgiveness? I think it'll have a better outcome. Is it immoral? That's the question. I don't know. I can't know if you could say that it's moral to have somebody else have to pay for your mistakes. If the loans are forgiven, does it have an immediate beneficial impact on society? Possibly. I think it's still possible that it can be immoral and still useful. I think a lot of things are immoral and useful. And I think we do a lot of things based on that sentiment. Like, it's definitely moral to help pay for elderly and veterans or whatnot, especially those who can't work. Well, actually, veterans are going to be a slightly different story. I mean, what's the moral, right? It's like people who physically are unable to work, it's moral to try and take care of them. But it's useless, though. If you can't take care of yourself, you shouldn't be assisted in any way, right? That's useless. But to the other side, though, I mean, is it immoral to, even public schools, you can argue, like, why should any of my money, if I'm working, like, say I don't have kids, why should my money go towards public schools? Like, that's not going to help me. Why should I be forced to pay for school? Well, the argument can be, it's useful to live in a society where people are more educated. Even a society where people have decent reading levels, decent understanding of politics, decent understanding of math. People that can work jobs are less likely to commit crimes. People that can pay taxes and increase the general standard of your city's wealth. I mean, between just general utilities that need to, like street care, care, public transit, money that goes into things like that. That's just simply funding, public education. Not automatically, but in time increases the other things. So is it immoral to have public funded stuff? Maybe. It's not, you don't directly benefit immediately, but your area that you live in can benefit. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all. I'm rambling at this point. I don't remember the dude's name, but I think they said it in the beginning. But I think he was speaking some solid knowledge. So that's a lefty that's lefty agreeing with a libertarian. I think that's pretty cool. And disagreeing with Sam Cedar. I've disagreed with Sam Cedar before. It's not going to nothing new. However, Big Poppy Sam Cedar, you can give me a shout out. I still love you. Great guy. I need the clout. I need it. I'm just kidding. It's not that big a deal. Anyway, if you like what you saw, leave a like, do a subscribe, do a crime. Don't actually do a crime. I'm out.